What you doing, Nate? I'm sorry. This fire keeps fucking me over. Oh, hi.
Is this really how we're gonna have to do this?
Yeah, I forgot Mr. Bones' hand. Do it for the YouTube. Do it for the podcast. Oh, actually, for people not watching the YouTube video, I forgot to get Mr. Bones' hand, which is a skeleton hand, I clip the microphone to. So because we're camping in the woods, I have quite wisely chosen a giant stick. I feel like it could have been bigger. Nate is choosing to ignore the situation and roast a marshmallow instead. Liminal creature.
And the Black Lantern tapes.
Oh yeah, the Black Lantern. Okay, Liminal creature on my YouTube channel. It'll also be on the Black Lantern Society and the Black Lantern tapes. And you better believe we're gonna do a weird sign off for this one.
Oh, it's gonna be the weirdest sign-off.
It's gonna be so weird. Some ASMR marshmallow sounds.
Ow!
Marshmallow has just come out of the fire, and Nate has just burned his tongue. Anyway, we thought it'd be a really cool idea to tell spooky stories while we're camping, but specifically spooky camping stories around the campfire. I forgot to look up spooky stories, so Nathan's actually going to tell spooky stories.
Yes. I will tell the story, and then we can discuss.
Fuck yeah. Sorry, let me give you the giant stick.
Oh, you can hold it.
Alright, there you go.
You can be my boom mic. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait for this aeroplane to finish going over.
Getting ambient airplane. Oh, I didn't get any ambient marshmallow chewing. OnlyFans right now. Right on my OnlyFans.
Are you ready for the story?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I'm reading this out. A few years ago, a guy went backcountry camping. This is in the USA. With a group of with a group of close friends in a deeply isolated section of State Park. It was a place where the tree line was dense, and once the sun went down, the darkness felt heavy, almost absolute. On the second night, around midnight, the guy realized he needed to use the restroom. The park's main campsite facility were a good 50 yards away down a long, winding dirt trail. He grabbed his flashlight, told the group he'd be right back, and stepped out of the warm glow of their campfire into the pitch dark. He was about halfway down the trail when he saw a flashlight beam cut through the trees up ahead. A figure stepped out of an unused, overgrown campsite path onto the main trail, walking about 40 feet in front of him. Even in the dark, the guy instantly recognized the silhouette. It was his best friend from the campfire. Let's call him Mark. Mark had a very distinct, slightly uneven way of walking. You'd know it anywhere. Relieved he wasn't alone, he called out to the guy, "Hey Mark, wait up!" The figure didn't stop. It just kept walking down the trail, but it turned its head slightly back toward him and whispered loud enough to carry through the quiet woods, "Why are you following me?" The guy laughed, thinking Mark was just playing a prank. "What do you mean? I literally just told everyone I was going to the bathroom. Why did you come from the creepy side trail anyway?" The figure didn't answer. It just picked up its pace, moving swiftly into the darkness. The guy couldn't keep up and eventually lost sight of Mark's flashlight beam. Once he got to the restroom, he used them, hurried back to the campsite, fully expecting to chew out Mark for being weird in the woods, but when he walked back into the light of the campfire, Mark was sitting right there. He was tucked into a camp chair, nursing a drink, laughing at a joke somebody had just made. The guy stopped dead in his tracks. "Dude, how did you get back so fast, and why were you messing with me on the trail?" The entire circle went silent. Mark looked up, completely confused. "What were you talking about? I haven't left this fire since you walked away 10 minutes ago." The rest of the friends nodded in confirmation. Mark hadn't moved. The guy figured they were all in on a massive prank, so he dropped it, but he couldn't shake a deep, cold feeling in his stomach. At 3 a.m, the guy woke up inside his tent. He needed to pee again, but there was no way he was walking down the trail, so instead, he just unzipped the flap of his tent, stepped a few feet into the brush, right next to his tent, and did his business. As he turned around to zip himself back up into his sleeping bag, he heard the distinct zip of a neighbouring tent opening. He looked over. In the dim moonlight, he saw Mark step out of his tent. Mark didn't have a flashlight. He just stood there in the dark, looking towards the cars parked about 30 feet away. The guy, still a little frustrated from earlier, muttered, "Mark, seriously, what are you doing?" The figure of Mark slowly turned its head. It didn't say a word, it just gave a slow, vacant shake of its head, turned around and walked into the darkness behind the cars. Annoyed, the guy whispered, "Fine, whatever," and decided to follow him to finally catch him in the act. He walked around the hood of the car just seconds after Mark disappeared behind it, but the space behind the vehicle was completely empty. There was nowhere to hide, just an open drop-off into the woods. Suddenly, a cold sweat broke out across his entire body. He slowly crept back over to Mark's actual tent. He leaned his ear against the fabric, and from inside he could clearly hear a heavy rhythmic sound of Mark, fast asleep and snoring. So, if Mark was asleep in his tent, and Mark was sitting at the fire, who was asking why he was following them into the darkness, and who was it that left the tent?
Oh my god, I nearly hit myself in the face. Option 1. Sorry. Option 1. This guy is having some extremely weird sleep paralysis.
The first one was thinking while he was asleep. He was around the campfire with everybody, and he took a pee and wandered off into the woods by himself. And
Maybe it's just someone else playing a prank?
possibly.
I don't know. I think there's options.
Definitely. So this, I can reveal, is a story that came from Reddit. The OP was not the individual from the story. They were another individual in the group that has retold the story.
Okay.
So there's not a lot of additional detail to go on, other than the area in which the story was told, which would be Northwest Virginia. I thought that would change your mind over the...
Get the fuck out of there. That's like Appalachia territory, right?
Yeah, that's Central Appalachian Mountains.
Central Appalachian Mountains. So here's my opinion. Number 1, why would you follow it? Number 2, are you dumb? Number 3, get back in your tent, zip it up, use a bowl, pretend nothing ever happened. Did you just lose your skewer? Did you just burn yourself in the process? Okay. It's the ambient sound of the cuckoo bird. I don't... Rude. I don't have any, this is skills, by the way. Pure skill. I don't have any spooky camp stories, I forgot to look any up.
Wow.
Wow. But also, like, I'm actually genuinely scared of Appalachia stories.
Why do you think I picked that one?
You're so mean. You'll be like crying in the tent later. But
Doppelgangers
no.
and SW.
No, we don't say those words. Not in the woods either. Jesus.
I didn't say the word.
Good. Do you know what? I am glad about though? I don't have a scary story, but do you know what is scary? Bears. We're in the UK, so I don't have to worry about just a bear randomly rocking up and trying to get into the tent. But I don't think I could ever go camping in the States. I'm so scared of bears. But at the same time, they're like big fluffy dogs. Can I pet that dog? Can I pet that dog? Like, they scare me. They're like, I don't know. People in the States are going to be watching this going, no, they're really easy to get rid of. Just use bear spray.
Do you want another one?
I suppose we should do another one, but I think you should hold the stick this time so I can have a marshmallow. In between your legs.
Oh, I'm just going to do this.
Oh my god.
Okay, so this next one is a piece of camping folklore that originates from the dense pine forests of North Carolina.
Is that also...
No, it's the opposite side of the country.
My eyes.
No thanks. Okay. A group of 4 experienced backpackers decided to do a grueling 3-day hike into a remote wilderness area. By the end of the first day, they were completely exhausted, so they set up camp a bit earlier than planned in a small, isolated clearing, surrounded by a massive, towering pine trees. As night fell, they did what we're doing right now. They had built a fire, they'd eaten dinner, and they were sat around just talking.
Oh, I hate this. I hate this already.
Around 10 p.m, the conversation died down, and a bit of a strange hush fell over the campsite. One of the hikers, a girl named Sarah, noticed it first. The normal night sounds, the crickets, the wind rustling, pine needles, the distant hoot of an owl, or in this case, a cuckoo,
I hate that you're making it real life.
had completely vanished, and the woods were dead silent. And then, breaking the silence, from deep within the trees, they heard it. A faint, clear whistle. 3 flat, deliberate tones.
No.
The OP says that I should copy the sound that it made. And I'm not going to.
No, let's not do that. Do not do that.
They all stopped talking and looked around into the darkness. One of the guys laughed it off. Sounds like another camper is lost out there, he said. He stood up, cupped his hands around his mouth, and whistled back.
What an idiot.
The exact same 3 notes to let them know where the camp was. For a long minute, nothing happened. The woods stayed quiet. Then the whistle came again, only this time it was noticeably closer. And it wasn't just 3 notes anymore, it was the same 3 notes repeated twice faster. Sarah felt a sudden chill. There was no melody to it. It didn't sound like a person trying to find their way. It sounded like an imitation of a whistle. It was completely mechanical, flat, and empty. "Stop whistling back," she whispered to her friend. "Don't answer it."
Good girl.
They decided to call it a night. They put out the fire, leaving only glowing red embers, and retreated to their 2 separate tents. Sarah and her tent mate zipped themselves in, got into their sleeping bags, and tried to sleep, but the silence outside was heavy and suffocating. An hour passed. Sarah was just drifting off when she heard the crunch of dry pine needles. Something was walking slowly around the perimeter of their clearing. It walked with a heavy, uneven thud, circling their tents. Sarah froze, her heart hammering against her ribs. She reached out and gripped her tent mate's arm, who was wide awake, staring blindly at the tent ceiling in the dark. The footsteps stopped right between the two tents. For a long, agonizing minute, there was no sound at all. No breathing, no shifting weight, just absolute stillness. And then, right outside the thin nylon wall of Sarah's tent, so close she could feel the vibration of the sound in the air, something let out the exact same 3-note whistle. But it wasn't a human whistle anymore. It was wet, ragged, distorted wheeze forced through whatever passed through its throat. Sarah and her friend squeezed their eyes shut, paralyzed by terror, praying the fabric of the tent would hold. The creature stood there for what felt like hours. Every few minutes it would take a single step, stop, and repeat those 3 flat notes. It didn't try to tear open the tents, it didn't growl, it just stood in the pitch dark, whistling at them in the dark. Finally, as the first grey light of dawn began to bleed through the trees, the whistling stopped. They heard the heavy crunch of pine needles fading into the deep brush. The second it was bright enough to see, all 4 hikers burst out of their tents. Nobody spoke. They didn't even bother rolling up their sleeping bags or packing their gear. They grabbed their packs, abandoned the rest of the equipment, and practically ran the entire 10 miles back down the trailhead. When they finally reached the safety of their car, Sarah looked back at the tree line one last time. And from the deep dark shadows of the pine, where the sun couldn't reach, she heard it one more time. Faint, distinct, and mocking. They never camped there again.
I'm fucking camped there right now. Oh my god, no.
Obviously, one of my first thoughts is, what? Just don't whistle back, you know? Secondly, I was trying to go through the kind of animals that make those sounds. I was like, a moose? Moose are quite heavy. Meese? Mooses? Meese?
Just moose.
Just moose?
Yeah.
Oh. Oh no, a meese. You know, they're quite heavy-footed. They're huge. But last time I checked, they sound more like, you know, do you want to imitate a moose? Like a, like a, you know? that was a moose. Deers, but they're kind of more like a weird barky kind of noise. Foxes bark. I don't know what animals are native to Carolina? California. Bobcats?
They growl.
Bobcat in pain?
Bobcat in pain isn't gonna hang around your campsite for an hour or so.
True.
Multiple hours for that matter.
I'm glad that no one whistled back in that moment or like came out the tent.
You want another one?
Am I gonna sleep tonight?
I don't know, are you?
No, probably not. Can we do some ASMR can opening? Not spawn. Not spawn, can opening. Maybe one of those famous ASMRers. Crisp. Delicious.
I'm good. Non-alcoholic cider.
Yeah, non-alcoholic. This is nothing like Too Many Spirits. We're not copywriting. This is not enough spirits because we don't drink.
Not enough spirits. Because there hasn't been a ghost story yet. Until now.
Alright, give me ghosts.
Give me the stick.
Okay, marshmallow.
Okay. Right, this one is based in the UK.
Oh. At least with the stateside ones, you can pretend it's not happening.
Well, not this one, you can't.
Oh my god, that pheasant scared the shit out of me. He just came out of the blue and ran down there. I'm not gonna follow it.
Why not?
Because it must be a pheasant.
Okay. An experienced wild camper decided to do a solo overnight trek up onto the Kinder Scout Plateau in Derbyshire.
Daddy.
It was early October, overcast and thick, heavy mist was beginning to roll across the moors. Oh, excuse me. Apologies, everybody. Dropping the visibility down to just a few meters. I love that what's happening right now is that there is sounds of something running around behind the windbreaker that we can't see.
No, I do know what it is, and I can. So there's two pheasants chasing each other.
Oh, okay. Or is
No, I've seen them.
it?
They're 100% pheasants, and I've burnt my marshmallow listening to pheasants.
Okay. He decided to pitch his tent right near the Mad Woman's stones.
That seems dumb already.
A bleak, jagged pile of rocks out on the high peat bogs. The moment he got off the main path and the stones came into view, an unshakable feeling of dread washed over him. It wasn't the normal thrill of wild camping, it was heavy, suffocating sensation that he was being watched by something intensely hostile.
Can I just say, already this is reminding me of fucking Woman in Black. You know? Around out on the moors and she's like watching everyone.
Possibly. Maybe it's based on that.
Oh, Robin!
Oh.
Cute.
He tried to rationalise it, forced himself to eat some dinner, and crawled into his tent as heavy rain started to lash against the fabric, which we will have later
I
tonight.
hate you. You've done this on purpose knowing it's going to rain later.
I didn't know this detail until I started reading it just now. Around 2 a.m, a violent gust of wind ripped one of his tent pegs straight out the sodden ground. The heavy nylon vestibule began flapping wildly in the dark. Annoyed and freezing, he pulled on his boots, unzipped the fly, and stepped out into the pitch-black, driving rain to fix it. He knelt down in the mud, searching around for his torch and the loose guy line. And then, the wind completely died. The rain kept falling, but the air around him became instantly thick and freezing cold. He froze, crouched on his hands and knees in the peat. The feeling of being watched returned, but this time it was omnipresent. It felt like something was standing directly behind him, looming over his shoulder. His brain went into total survival mode. He wanted to look up, he wanted to turn around, but he was completely paralyzed by fear. Then, through the sound of the rain hitting his hood, he heard it. Thump, thump, thump. Heavy, deliberate footsteps walking right out of the thick mist. But they weren't the sounds of boots. It sounded like bare, heavy feet sinking into the wet peat, coming straight towards his tent. He held his breath, eyes locked on the mud beneath his hands, waiting for a pair of feet to appear in the beam of his torch. The footsteps walked right past him. He felt the vibration in the ground. He could hear the squelch of the mud just inches from his face, and a freezing, putrid draft of air brushed against the back of his neck. When he looked down at the grass where the sound had just come from, there was absolutely nothing there. The grass wasn't even bent. The footsteps moved right up to the entrance of his tent, stopped, and then the heavy shush of sound of fabric shifting echoed through the dark. Whatever it was running its hands slowly up and down the side of his tent, searching for the zip. The camper finally broke out of his paralysis, scrambled backwards and burst into his tent and zipped it shut from the inside. press-ganging his back against the tent pole to hold it up. He sat there in the dark, clutching his knife, listening to the wet, rhythmic slapping of hands pressed against the thin nylon walls of his tent, circling it over and over again until dawn. When the sun finally broke through the Derbyshire mist, the scratching stopped. He threw open the tent flap, packed his gear in less than 3 minutes, and practically sprinted back down towards Adele Station. He never looked back. The worst part, he thought that it had just been a really bad panic attack or a vivid nightmare. But when he got back down into the valley and checked his gear, the entire outside of his green tent was covered in thick grey slime, and there were 5 distinct muddy handprints dragged across the top of the rainfly.
I hate that you've done this.
So, sorry, whose idea was it to do camp stories at a camp?
It was my idea. But I thought, oh, yeah, it would be all jolly and fun, and and now you can sleep closer to the door tonight, and we can move the bed so you're near the door and I'm near the wall, but I'm not getting wet. Can't say I'm a fan. Anyway, that was 3 spooky stories.
What was this spooky story?
Is there anything else you want to talk about that's spooky? Any spooky things coming up? Summerween? Summerween is coming up. What's our theme for Summerween?
Oh,
Starts with an M.
Midsummer.
Yeah. We're doing Midsummer. I was like, what the hell is that red light shining through the trees? Oh my god, it's the Rendlesham UFO. It's coming for us. But no, it's the telephone poles, like across the couple fields. But yeah, we're doing folk horror Summerween.
Yep.
So we're doing like flowy white dresses in wheat fields and flower crowns and all that good spooky stuff. Last year we did Slasher Summer. We did like Camp Crystal Lake. Actually went to a lake, didn't we? Went to Alton Waters. And we took some really cool photos. We should do that again sometime. But like really go into like the horror element of it.
You made a chase you around with a knife.
I meant more like the gore.
Fair enough.
You can dress as Jason? Is it Jason?
What, as in...
Camp Crystal Lake. Yeah. We could get some really cool photos for that. Folk horror, we're doing kind of culty vibes. Midsummer. Like the film Midsummer. You could get bear soup. Creepy stuff like that. Do we have any other spooky things coming up? The pheasant really wants to be in the podcast and the YouTube video. Anything else spooky coming up?
Well, the podcast and its next episodes.
Is that this Tuesday coming? Not tomorrow,
No, it's the following.
which is
The 26th.
Tuesday the 26th of May will be the next episode of the Black Lantern tapes.
Which will probably be this.
Which will probably be this. So if you see the YouTube video, you'll probably see it before the podcast goes out. And if you're listening to the podcast, then the YouTube video's been out for like a week. Catch up.
I think that's it.
I think that's it. Halloween, we don't have anything major planned.
A little early.
It's never too early.
No, it's a little too early for us to lock down some plans.
Yeah, a little too early to lock down plans because last year we were so spontaneous with it.
ASMR.
Oh, some ASMR marshmallow time, Nathan.
Oh no, this is just a packet.
No, that's actually what Nathan sounds like when he eats a marshmallow. Nathan's actually made of like plastic and paper.
Going out of fire then, could I?
No. Nathan made this fire and it's great. But yeah. I'm trying to think of any other spooky updates. I've got more videos coming out on my channel. I think my next video is going through all the weird things I own. So if you want to see some taxidermy and some weird shit, head over to Liminal Creature on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, please stay. You've arrived, you're here, you're in the right place. It will be out soon. Bad sign-off time?
Bad sign off.
What should we do for our sign-off?
Oh no.
Bye!